how does your engineering mindset fundamentally change how you approach complex health mystery that traditional medicine has missed?
As an engineer, if there's a problem with a system, with your car, with a building heating and air conditioning system, with any kind of complex thing that I've been involved in the past, if something's not working right, we have to figure out what's wrong. We have to go back to the beginning of the source of the problem. On your car, if the light comes on that says check your engine, if you just put tape over it so you don't see it, or you cover it up or take out the light bulb so you don't have that light, you haven't solved the problem. It's still there. And most people cover up their problems. If they have a headache, they'll take pain medicine so that they don't feel it anymore. And they think they've solved their headache, but they haven't. They have just silenced the message that says, hey, we have a problem. There could be a dozen different reasons why your head hurts, and most people don't stop to figure out what it is to resolve it.
Welcome to the Feria TechCast. We'll bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today, we are joined by Beth Mielbrecht, a unique health detective who combines over 35 years of experience as a mechanical engineer with our expertise as a Reiki master teacher and bioenergetic testing practitioner. After a long career in analytics and systemic problem solving, she made a remarkable pivot to resolve complex health mysteries that traditional methods often miss. Beth employs bioenergetic testing to uncover what standard lab tests can't, translating the body's signals into precise, customized solutions. Through her work, she empowers people to move beyond the supplement spiral and trial and error approaches, offering a new framework that treats health challenges not as random failures, but as intelligent communications from a body that wants to heal. So, Beth, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. So you've had a remarkable career pivot from mechanical engineer to health detective. So take us through that journey. What was the catalyst that made you pivot, and how did you begin to merge these two seemingly different worlds?
Sure. Well, mechanical engineers like me are very results driven. We have vision and we want to make it happen. So I like to build it, create it, and find a solution that works. And that has served me well in my engineering career. But later, I began to notice that some of my family and friends had health problems and they were always complaining about them, but they didn't do anything. They might have headaches or joint pain, or they were just tired and they just complained and then didn't find any solutions. And I thought, no, our bodies can heal. You can figure this out. And I started looking for ways that I could help people because I just wanted my friends and family to be healthy, to be able to go out to dinner and to go on a hike, to just be active. And that's when I found bioenergetic testing. And to me, it was the missing link between finding out what someone was feeling and what the root cause was. So that's when I started working with my friends and family to help them with their health issues. And they got amazing results. So I started doing it more and more. So that's my journey, is just wanting to help people, especially them. I've always been interested in health, had a long, many decades of trying different health things. I've tried every diet I've tried all different kinds of exercise. So I combine that with bioenergetic testing to help people as a health detective.
That's quite an amazing journey. So, tell us, Beth, how does your engineering mindset, trained in analytics and systemic problem solving, fundamentally change how you approach complex health mystery that traditional medicine has missed?
Well, when, as an engineer, if there's a problem with a system, with your car, with a building heating and air conditioning system, with any kind of complex thing that I've been involved in the past, if something's not working right, we have to figure out what's wrong. We have to go back to the beginning of the source of the problem. On your car, if the light comes on that says there's a check your engine, if you just put tape over it so you don't see it, or you cover it up or take out the light bulb so you don't have that light, you haven't solved the problem. It's still there. And most people cover up their problems. If they have a headache, they'll take pain medicine so that they don't feel it anymore. And they think they've solved their headache, but they haven't. They have just silenced the message that says, hey, we have a problem. There could be a dozen different reasons why your head hurts. And most people don't stop to figure out what it is to resolve it. So I like data. I've done a lot of research and research on emerging technologies. And there's always capturing data to find out how it's actually working. When I use bioenergetic testing, it's done using equipment and software, and I get a lot of data. My job is to interpret it, to put all the pieces together so that my clients understand it. So that's understanding where the source of the problem is fundamental. And that's how I became so good at what I do. That's part of the underlying methodology of being an engineer. You know that if anyone who's technically minded is going to go to the source. And I'm sure you know people in your friends and family, and if they don't feel well, they would rather suppress it, mask it, ignore it, make the pain go away without figuring out what the problem is. And then that doesn't always work because it'll come back, maybe come back more.
Interesting. For our audience of engineers and tech professionals, how would you explain the science behind bioenergetic testing and the way that makes logical sense to them?
Well, I can't guarantee that it will make logical sense to anyone, but I will explain it to you. So, anyone who's in technology these days is aware that everything is made up of electricity. You don't have to be an electrical engineer. You can be in software, you can be mechanical engineer, you could be any type. And you know that there's energy that is powering everything. Well, electrical energy is powering our bodies. It's measurable. If you want to measure your heartbeat, you use a device that measures the electrical impulses in your heart. You can measure your brain waves through the electrical impulses, and you can measure all around you how much energy you are giving off. So that is your electromagnetic field. We all are connected through the electromagnetic field of one another. When you walk into a room, you might feel like, this is a fun place. Everyone's so happy. Or you could walk into a room and feel the energy of the people and say, oh my goodness, people are angry. And you can feel that right away. So all around us, we are sensing and giving off electrical energy. It's It's electricity and magnetism. So any engineer who has taken a fundamental course called electricity and magnetism, it applies to people as well. So what I do is a digital form of muscle testing. Muscle testing is a way of bypassing your thinking brain and working with your innate intelligence. If I asked you, is your name Michael? And I was pressing on your arm, Ezekiel, your arm would be weak. Your body would just know, my name is not Michael, it is Ezekiel. If I press on your arm and say, your name is Ezekiel, your arm would naturally be strong. And this is a concept called muscle testing. It's also called applied kinesiology. So through that way, I don't have to ask your brain questions that you then need to think about and verbalize an answer to. I can just talk directly to your body because your body knows. So if you were working with a practitioner in person, the practitioner will ask all of these questions. How is your pituitary gland? How is your thyroid? How is your heart? How is your spleen, your liver? Do you need more magnesium? How is your iron? How is your copper? What about zinc? How about amino acids? Do you have enough protein? Are you digesting them? Thousands and thousands of questions. And if you were in person with someone, they would use a form of testing to do that. And they're talking to the electrical part of your body that's communicating. What I do, and this is a paradigm shift. You might not be ready to take this leap, but if you are, jump with me. Here it is. I can do this remotely. I can note with your name, address, and birth date and your contact information. I can use my fancy lab grade equipment and my software to ask those questions digitally to you. So I am sending a little electric signal to you, and then I'm measuring the response. And I'm capturing that all. It's like a fancy data logger. I'm capturing all that information. And I'm finding out what's out of balance and what you need to be into balance. So if you come to me and you say, I have headaches all the time, there could be many, many reasons. And I will find out exactly what those reasons are and what you need to be back into balance. That's what bioenergetic testing is. So we take small steps. First, you have to know that you are electrical and we have electricity and magnetism. Second, you have to know that there's a part of you that's running this show. That is your innate wisdom. It's not your thinking brain. If you relied on your thinking brain to breathe, to digest your food, to move your blood cells, my goodness, we would forget many times a day and we would stop breathing. So thank goodness that doesn't happen. And the third thing is that we are all connected all over the world through our electromagnetic signature, and we can tap into that.
Interesting. So, tell us, Beth, what can bioenergetic testing uncover about a person's health that a standard lab test showing results as normal simply cannot?
Yes. Okay. So since we've established that you're an electromagnetic person and you've got a communication system that's running the show, when something's out of balance, it happens energetically first. Or we could say it happens electrically first. There's an electronic communication breakdown that happens first. So the people who got this right and figured it out first that we know about, traditional Chinese medicine, all of the acupuncture meridians, all of those meridians up and down the body show how the electricity moves. And when something is clogged or disrupted, then the energy doesn't flow and something could cause issues. And when you go to an acupuncturist and they stimulate with a needle, one of those points, it gets the energy or electricity moving again. So the first thing that happens is electricity gets disrupted. Then, after that happens, there's chemical changes. So then you'll see chemical changes in your urine and your blood. Then, after that, you'll start feeling pain or symptoms. When you get a blood test, they're very helpful. Blood tests are very helpful. That's already downstream. That's a lagging indicator. So, yes, look at your blood test. That's wonderful. But that is looking for something that happened downstream of the original problem. And the blood test it's not possible for a blood test to measure everything that might be out of balance in your body. So your healthcare practitioner looks for certain major markers. There's some major things that they're checking for. They could be the right things for you to figure out what you need to get healthy again, or they might not be the right things. So they could come back, your blood test could come back and say, well, everything is in the normal range, but but you still feel bad. You still feel lousy. So then what do? You have to look upstream to where the communication in your body is broken down. That's going to tell you the answer. And blood tests are also compared against an average population. I don't know about you, but I'm not average. I don't think you're average. You're above average. And so, would you want your results to be compared to an average, unhealthy, sick population? Probably not. Probably you'd want to be compared to people who are healthy and strong. And that's just not the case. So, there's a issue with what the numbers are being compared against to tell you that it's normal, and also that it's a lagging indicator, which is why it might not be picking up on the right thing.
Amazing. So, some people resort to supplement spiral and Google self-diagnosis. And also with the advent of AI, I think some people, when they feel some symptoms, they would also go to artificial intelligence like ChatGPT to ask maybe what's happening and what could be the cause and possible solutions. No, so tell us, Beth, from an analytical standpoint, why do these approaches often fail to provide right answers?
Well, the marketing for supplements is at an all-time high, and we want answers, and we can get answers so quickly. You can get all kinds of answers, right answers, wrong answers, popular answers, scary answers, anything you want to know. It's right with AI and with Google, you can get that very quickly. But what's right for you? What is the right answer for you? It's important for you to know what supplements or protocol or path you should take for you. Sure, there's great advice. Eat healthy, move your body, get enough sleep. If you need Google or AI to help you get that, wonderful. But when it comes to taking supplements or embarking on invasive or expensive protocols or procedures, you should double check. Because what I found is people take too many supplements and they think that it must be helpful. It was helpful for their friend. Or when they go to the store, it's so compelling that they just need to buy it because it seems like it might be the exact thing they need. And what happens is that your body has to process all of these supplements. Your liver has to process it, and then you have to excrete it, and it can be a burden. Now, you might guess right, and it might be exactly what you need. You need to figure out what is right. And so, one way of figuring out without working with a practitioner, if you're just by yourself and you want to know, well, should I take this vitamin C? Or what about this vitamin B12 Or what about this herbal supplement? Here's something that you can do just to try it out is take the bottle and hold it in your hand and ask yourself, is this beneficial for me right now? And pay attention to see if you can feel yes, to see if you can feel a leaning in, to see if you can feel, yes, this is going to be right. You might feel, no, this isn't right. And you might feel a backing away. You'll have to get in touch with your own body to know how to do it for yourself, to know what your yes and your no feel like. And if you feel a yes, go for it. Give it a try. However, know that supplements are supplemental. They're not meant to be taken every day for years and months and months. They might be appropriate for where you are in your life right now, for how you're feeling, for the season you're in, and what works now might not be useful later on. And so it might not be analytical to check in with your body, but I assure you that your body is the smartest doctor and it is capable of processing so many analytics that if you learn to work with your own body, you'll get more right answers and make better decisions so that you can help your body heal from whatever it is that ails you.
Amazing. So tell us a bit, what are your keys to healing, and how did you derive this framework from your combined experience in engineering and as a health detective?
Okay, sure. So, my 4 keys to healing, I figured out by working with clients and always being thorough. So, engineers are very thorough. We look at everything. And I found that when I was working with clients, they were focused on one body part. They said, this my elbow hurts, so I'm only worried about that. Or I feel sad inside, so I'm only worried about my emotions. But your body is all connected. So as a systems thinker, my 4 keys address your whole body as an integrated system. And it's not necessary, and it can be harmful to break yourself up into little parts, to work with somebody for your gut health and work with somebody else for your migraines and work with somebody else for your emotions. They are all connected. And so if you do have all those people on your team, make sure that you're integrating everything they say and make sure that you tell them everything that you're doing with all of the other practitioners. For me, the 4 keys are this. The first is to assess your body, your whole body. You might think you have a problem with your elbow, but really the problem is coming from someplace else. And we could use any kind of analogy, but if your hip hurts, it could be a problem with your foot and the way you're walking that travels up your leg, throws your knee out of balance, and then your hip out of balance. But if you're only interested in someone who's going to look at your hip and not your foot and how you walk and how you stand, then you're missing the beginning of your problem. So it's important to look at your whole body as a system. So the first is to assess your whole body. The second is to balance the physical. So look at what's out of balance physically and give your body what it needs to balance out physically. And I do this through bioenergetic testing, my custom remedies, I'm also a homeopath, and so it's a custom homeopathic, and also practical physical techniques that you can use. That's number 2, balance physically. The third key is to balance emotionally. So I do that also with bioenergetic testing, and there's homeopathic balancing remedies in what I give my clients. But then there's also practical support. Maybe it's about setting boundaries. Maybe it's about finding your voice. Those are things that I give my clients. So balance emotionally. And the fourth is about releasing trapped emotions. What I found is that old emotions from long ago, from maybe when we were children, or maybe something happened, but life is so fast and we didn't have time to process it. It was scary, or it was deeply grieving. There was a loss of some kind. Maybe it was a big change. Maybe there was a big move to another country, or maybe there was a change with your family. And you thought you were fine, but you just, you move on. That's our culture today. Just keep going. Those emotions are still inside you, and they tend to go to an area of weakness. So they just settle in. And releasing trapped emotions is the fourth key. And I find that that lifts a weight off of everyone, and it allows them to move forward clearly, confidently, and it totally shifts things. So the four keys are: assess your whole body, balance physically, balance emotionally, and release those trapped emotions. And when I do all of those, clients really see amazing transformations in their health.
So, tell us, what is your vision for the future of bioenergetics and energy medicine? Where do you actually see the most potential for innovation in this field?
I see the most potential in the future with more people, maybe everyone, but at least more and more people knowing what energy medicine is. Energy medicine is anything that's using your own electromagnetic communication system to heal. It's great to have the benefit of traditional medicine, but it only works from the inside out. Only you can heal yourself. So my vision for the future is that everyone knows and practices some form of energy medicine. That might be acupuncture, that might be homeopathy, that might be some kind of hands on healing like Reiki. It doesn't have to be Reiki, it could be anything, but anything where we are using touch to heal ourselves. So beneficial. It could be bioenergetic testing. There's multiple forms of it now. Anything that is using your innate wisdom and helping your own body to get back into balance without suppressing, silencing, and masking your symptoms. That's my vision, that people know what it is and that they're familiar with some form of it. There are so many paths to healing. It doesn't have to be what I do, but working with your own wisdom, asking questions, listening, and taking action is how you get better and healthier. And when you're healthier, then the whole world just works better.
Well, that's great. So, looking back at your incredible career pivot, so what has been the most challenging aspects for you, bridging the worlds of hard science with energy healing?
So I guess the hard pivot has been having a career that everyone knows what it is. Everyone might not know exactly what an engineer does or a mechanical engineer, but if I give an example of a building or a car or a bridge, people know that, okay, engineers build those things. Bioenergetic testing, nobody knows what that is. Everybody knows what health is. They know what sickness and illness is, but they don't have new ways of thinking about it. So the hardest part has been telling people and sharing my message that your body wants to heal. You can try my way, you can try other ways, but we're conditioned to think that bad things happen to us. It just falls out of the sky and we get sick. But really, it's all within us. We have the ability with our own electrical communication system, our own energy to heal ourselves, to be strong, to overcome things. We just need to know what questions to ask. So that's new. That's a totally new concept. Most people aren't ready for that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being a visionary, with being ahead of the curve, with being ready to hold the space for people who want to learn something new. But that's been the biggest challenge because engineering has been around for centuries and centuries, thousands of years. There's been engineers who built things. There's also always been wise people who are healers. That's not as popular. And now I'm bridging both. So that's how it is.
Amazing. For this podcast, part of it is centered around innovation. So for that reason, there's this particular question I like to ask every guest that come on this podcast. So tell us, Beth, what does innovation mean to you, and how does it relate to your field in the context of health and solving the body's mystery? Of course, you've said a lot about it already. Yeah, I think you've said one or two things about it, but I just like want to hear like the direct opinion from you.
Sure. So to me, innovation is seeing a problem, finding a solution, and having the vision to see it through to completion. So I see a problem. People are sick. They don't know why. They don't think they can do anything about it. I know what the solution is. Your body can heal. How do I get people there? Innovation is putting everything together so that the solution will get people from their problem to where they want to be. The hard part is that people might not be looking for this solution. They're used to the old solution. And so the innovation part is being able to make that connection with people and bring them along for the journey. Because there are so many great innovations in the world. But if we look at it and say, oh, that's silly. Why would I ever do that? That doesn't make any sense. We might not have cell phones. We might not have electric cars. We might not fly in airplanes. If people said, well, that's silly. Why would I want to leave the ground and fly? That sounds scary. I don't want to do that. So innovation is being able and strong enough to hold the vision so that we can get there and we can bring the people with us who we're meant to serve. And I've got that vision. I hope I have enough stamina to hang on because it's a conversation that keeps evolving and evolving over time. Also, the first solution isn't always the right one or the best one. So just doing bioenergetic testing without health coaching, that doesn't work so well. People need to be supported. They need to have conversations. Those work better. And I'm sure I'll figure out better and keep improving on my innovation. Even though I did not develop bioenergetic testing, I put everything I have together in it so that it is mine. I call it the precision healing method, but innovation is always evolving, but it requires seeing the problem, the solution, and having that vision and holding strong.
That's an interesting one. So, finally, Beth, tell us where can our listeners, contact you or go take your quick quiz to decode what their body is telling them, and generally learn more about your work.
Sure. I do have a quiz. So if you'd like to find out more about your body and your health and get my personalized insights into it, you can take the quiz. And the quiz you can find at bit.ly, bit period ly/ Beth quiz. So all one word, Beth quiz. And that will give you a 60-second quiz. There's only 10 questions. And at the end, you'll find out where you should focus your efforts and my insights on how to do that.
Amazing. So, Beth, this has been a really interesting conversation with you today, and I'm excited to have you on the show.
It's been a pleasure. I love talking to you, Ezekiel.